Hello and welcome back to MDG Media. We are excited to be bringing you coverage of the 2023 European Masters Disc Golf Championships, a momentous occasion. We are bringing you MPO Round 1 Front 9 feature card coverage. I'm Connor Wood, and happy to have with me here today my friend and recent teammate, Stanislaus Amann.
Hello. Super excited to be here. Excited to watch some great disc golf, and I actually really like to see that course again. Let's see who we have on the card today. First up, KJ Nybo. I think that guy almost don't need any introduction. 9-time Danish champion.
Joining him on this feature card, Finnish player Tapani Aulu, making his debut here on MDG Media. I think solid command of both the forehand and the backhand, and excited to learn more about his game here today. Another great player joining us.
So, third player on the feature card, Emil Dahlgren, out of Sweden, sponsored by Latitude. Pretty high rating at 1015, highest rated player in the group, I think. Yeah, should be an exciting ad.
And our local player here, Erich Altoray, joining us from Budapest, Hungary, playing in his home country, going to have some great support and hopefully harness some of that energy. Stani, what do we know about Erich? I know you're good friends.
Yeah, I know him quite well for some years. He is one of the best players in Hungary. Also has some Swedish roots, so that's maybe why he is sponsored by Kastaplast. And yeah, let's see how he will kick off on hole number 1. This one is a par 4. It's basically a full rip to start. You're trying to play just a hyzer shot to that mouth gap, and then you have like 70-80 meters straight gap to this basket in the woods. There's a small OB hazard on the left of the gap, so better watch out to throw your shot far to not end up in that OB. Placement is everything here on the tee shot.
As we look to kick it off, you see KJ here getting us started. The first throw of the European Masters Championships here on MDG Media.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see him now play with his new Discraft bag. I know he switched the sponsor in the off-season. I don't really have him seen play so far this year.
I was fortunate enough to play around with him at the Copenhagen Open earlier in the year, actually on coverage on his channel, and a really great player. He was very adaptable to his new discs and felt very comfortable with them, and you see a solid shot by him off the tee. Tapani now really pushing that left side, but coming in safe just in time.
Oh yeah, I think it's definitely the play to go a little bit longer off the back than short. If you're short of the gap, you really cut your angle, and there's almost no shot to the basket, I think.
We see Emil there, also comfortable with the backhand hyzer. You get to see a little bit of the angle integrity, whether or not they're trying to play on full hyzer or potentially flip it up to flat for that distance you touched on, Stani.
Oh yeah.
And we see Erich with a slightly late release to the right side, but should at least push forwards enough to give himself a look down the tunnel, just with a little bit more distance.
Yeah, I honestly think he has a really great angle to the gap. Here we just saw Dani Hatvani, the tournament director, really quickly. And now the players approach to their lies, and yeah, Erich has a shot. It's quite a far one, but should be able to manage some kind of look. Yeah.
Great line up to flat and getting the soft ground play to finish. We go to KJ here, who is, as you mentioned, pinched, and he's playing a backdoor, is that correct? Looking to access the green around the traditional fairway.
Actually, I think that was just the main gap, but on a pretty odd angle, I would say.
Didn't realize he went quite so long, but was able to get himself into the fairway. Tapani there, also trying to access the mouth.
Yeah, you can really see if you're not in the prime position of the tee, you're struggling to access this basket. Also, Emil might be in need to just play for par here. Oh no, he has a look for sure.
A nice touch to find himself inside the circle. Tapani there, just a jump putt approach. Knows what he needs to do from that range.
Also KJ here. Nice little forehand putter shot. Oh wow, running it. Nice, I like seeing that.
Great bit off the cage. We go to Emil. Did find himself this nice birdie opportunity on hole 1 of round 1. Almost connecting, but a touch low. And a little bit of a mean roll away back towards him. But you see him here, still at a comfortable range. Just has to conquer the early nerves of the tournament. And there you go.
Yeah.
Gets it in for par. No damage done.
Not at all. I think par is just a fine score on this one. But yeah. On the other hand, Erich just putting for the lone birdie now. There he gets it. 1 down after 1. Definitely good start. All the others will settle for par. And soon we will move on to hole number 2.
Good hole, creating just a little bit of early separation for our local player.
Hole number 2 comes in at 95 meters. It's basically a straight tunnel shot at the beginning, just bending a slightly bit to the right side at the end. Preferable play probably the forehand, but backhand turnover works pretty well as well, I would say. So you can hear players are kind of disappointed with the scores of the first hole, so they're looking for some birdies now. Erich with a really nice turnover line. That looks like a pretty good shot. Ends up maybe just outside of circle 1, I would say.
Had the distance just right. Found the fade a touch early, but certainly putting himself into position. We go to KJ now. Really looking to use the understability on the left side. Managing as much width as he can and finds some of those last trees there just outside circle, I think. Also a pretty reasonable putt, although may have to straddle for it.
Yeah, definitely a chance. Oh yeah, Tapani on the forehand. Looks a bit inside, but yeah, he finds some windows through the trees and ends up almost in the bullseye. Nice shot there.
We look to Emil now to also shape the turnover backhand. Has this one quite a lot higher, but look at the sustained turn and a soft delivery into the green. Some great touch from Emil Dahlgren and just smooth angle and speed control right there.
So we are left with 4 looks for birdie. Some longer, some shorter putts. Let's see who can connect. KJ up first.
KJ with quite a late release to that putt, but at considerable range. A tall order. We go to Erich here, who's just a little bit closer and gets it in. Fantastic start here as he goes 2 through 2.
That's a dream start for the local guy.
And to make that big putt early on, really a statement both to the card as well as yourself and how you're playing on that given day. Tapani also finding himself the 2 here on hole 3.
Yeah, Emil just barely squeezes it in on the left side, gets the birdie. So KJ now the only one not being under par here on the card. Just left with a pretty short par putt. Yeah. Next chance on hole number 3, which is maybe the easiest hole on the course. Basically just a super straight line, 70 meters. There's some OB long of the basket, but it shouldn't be in play that much. I guess those guys are mainly throwing straight putter, maybe mid-range. You're just trying to manufacture a shot that is as straight as possible.
We'll get to see their angle control and, of course, speed control looking just softly downhill. Erich there with a little too gentle on that shot, but certainly getting his way up there, and I think remaining close to the fairway edge of tree line should be able to straddle. We see Tapani now.
Yeah, also a little bit shy maybe on the release, I don't know. Was a little bit soft, but still a putt. Definitely a chance. That's like kind of a typical miss here. Just pull it to the right slightly. Emil most likely just settling for a par.
KJ playing the soft hyzer and has a great width but a lot of speed. Catches the backstop of the bushes, and I think they've kept him pretty close from how it looked. He came in real hot, but it's a solid catch there.
Yeah, that should not be much more than 5 meters for the birdie. Oh, that's Emil leaving himself with kind of a nervy putt for par. Definitely not what he was looking for, I think. And a solid...
Tapani as well, not finding what he's looking for. But certainly a chance. We see Erich now, his stab from the bushes. You can really see just how thick that rough is from how difficult those shots were for those two, despite being at a pretty short distance.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty good connect for the par, just from circle's edge.
A short putt left, but with that awkward stance and specific window, you might have to alter your stroke. Always good to give those some great focus, as we'll see KJ left with the same, but for birdie, and is able to connect on his first of the round here. You mentioned hole 3 playing as potentially one of the easiest, but KJ with the lone birdie now. A twist of fate from the last hole.
Yeah, so now everyone is under par. Still a tight battle, but it's only the beginning. Hole number 4, again, a pretty specific landing zone if you want to play for the birdie, like on hole 1, but just a good bit shorter. Basically, it's just 2 shots at 75 meters straight. You need to find the corner on your tee shot and then turn to the left with another straight line to the basket. Pretty specific shots are asked here. So let's see if the straight line is dialed in now after hole 3. Basically almost the same shot, I would say, as the previous hole.
But 2 of them now. In order to birdie the par 4, we'll see KJ look to find his first tunnel shot. Has that smooth hyzer release up to flat.
Oh, that looks absolutely perfect. Maybe a little bit deep of the gap, but should be a play for the birdie for sure from there.
See, Erich now looks to be a Reiko in his hand. Has this slightly turned over, but kicking off a branch actually back towards center fairway. He looks to be a little bit short of the mouth. Yeah. Maybe able to sneak a forehand around there.
Exactly. There's like a sneaky backdoor route that Tapani might be able to access as well, but there's actually a lot of tree and other kind of bushes, so not sure if it's worth the risk.
And a smooth line from Emil Dahlgren, just laser straight down the pipe. He is right behind KJ. He'll be offered a little bit more width being further back to those late gaps, and you see a jump putt approach. You'd like that, I think, to be a little bit shorter or longer than where he aligned right in the middle of the tree, but certainly not a bad spot. Emil here with a huge patent pending. Look at the flex, Danny.
Oh yeah, that was amazing, man. Just And Heiser in the gap, almost perfectly all the way to the basket. Yeah, you can see KJ basically trying the same. Just holding the turn a tiny bit longer. Ends up in circle 2. Let's see if Tapani can correct on that.
Does drop to the knee, opening up the width and potentially the height. We see him push the flex out and the late overstability finding him outside the fairway, but look to have a fairly solid distance. The question will be what sort of window he may or may not have from there.
So this must be Erich's third shot. I guess he laid up the second one as well. And yeah, tricky putt. It's just, I've played this hole before as well, and it's really, if you're out of position, you're definitely struggling to get your par.
Oh, KJ is not struggling though. Check that out. From way downtown, puts together 2 in a row now. Fantastic putt.
Yeah, what a spin putt, man. I love KJ's spin putts. And not only KJ, this guy has a nice spin putt as well. Tapani saving his par from a knee.
Solid scramble. We go to Emil here. An amazing upshot, leaving him this putt for birdie now. And just textbook execution of hole 4 here for Emil. A perfect tunnel shot. Had a touch of scramble on his second because he went a little bit long, but really in his comfort zone and putting it all together here. We go now to Erich.
Some great putts we are seeing here, man. I like it. So here
Great skills on the green for our feature card.
Oh yeah, for sure. And let's move over to hole number 5. It's another par 4, coming in at 190 meters. It's basically kind of a gap shot off the tee out to the open, and then entering another gap slightly uphill to that basket. Pretty nice hole, I feel. It's definitely one of my favorites of this course.
The course definitely revealing its themes here. The big placement shot opening to a second tunnel.
Oh yeah.
We'll get to see the power hyzer for these players. We go to KJ now up first. Getting a lot of leftwards movement.
Yeah, basically you're trying to go as far left as possible here on the tee shot, because the further you are left, the more you can approach the second shot on hyzer. If you're too straight, you might be pinched, not even be able to play a birdie. So those are 2 great tee shots we just witnessed.
Erich now. You see him drop just a little bit earlier, not as much forwards pushing with that hyzer angle, but certainly a fine spot. Might leave him a more difficult upshot. And we go now to Tapani.
Yeah. Oh,
getting this up to flat, that's dangerous.
Yeah, that's definitely too straight. Might be still possible to get it up there to the green, but definitely a very hard shot now.
Most certainly now playing for par. Tapani looking to get as far around this tunnel as he can. And in fact, as he does give himself a birdie chance, he cut that so tight. That's an incredible result from that very pinched angle.
Oh yeah. Erich just ending up well inside the circle. That was a super nice approach on the Anheuser.
We see Emil offered this straight look here. Branches on the right. He opts to go right down the fairway, knowing it won't completely be parked, but a really fantastic shot. Smart play. And well executed.
Yeah, on this approach you can really smash it to the ground as the fairway goes slightly uphill, so you can really play it hard, just relying on hitting the ground close to the basket. KJ basically parks the hole, and we have, just like that, we have 4 birdie logs, Tapani from outside the circle, I think, yeah.
Erich connecting for his birdie, currently sitting at 3 down through the first 5. He's setting a nice pace here. KJ likely going to match him. We see Emil.
Yeah, Erich really keeping up to this early phase of the round with the other guys. I think all the other players might be 1,000 plus rated. Erich coming in at 958, I think I remember. But he knows the property, he knows the course. He really feels comfortable. Great seeing him play that well so far, as we just witnessed some other birdies from the other guys. And just like that, hole number 6 is another par 4, third in a row. This one comes in at 175 meters. It has some OB bunkers in the fairway and OB all the left side. The right side is heavily wooded, but not OB. You definitely don't want to end up in those woods, though.
KJ up first, looking for a thoughtful placement hyzer. Getting himself safely up to flat and right between those two areas.
Yeah.
A nice shot.
I would say that's a rather conservative play, but I think between those two OB bunkers probably is the preferred position of the tee.
Emil shaping a different line but to a similar landing zone. A nice control of the soft turnover there. Just really ending flat. Erich here also looking at the hyzer flip.
I should be in position to attack the birdie as well, for sure. So no problems for all of them clearing that first bunker. Tapani going on the forehand, just fading away from the OB. Pretty nice weapon if you have it on this hole. Ends up in a pretty... Yeah, that's a solid place. So, yeah.
Absolutely likely going to be shaping another forehand from there if he's comfortable with the distance. Erich doing the same here, playing the width, looking to have some late overstability to his flight, and beautifully brings it back in to the green. Going to be about 5 or 6 meters to find that 4 down, and the rest of these guys now looking to match that. Solid upshot. KJ naturally playing the backhand. I think he's more comfortable with that at this distance than with the forehand, and you see a great touch with the angle control. Just a little bit nose up, contributing to some early fade.
Yeah, that was a pretty overstable disc, honestly. Faded out quite a bit. Yeah, Tapani on the forehand angle, making things easy for himself, just a tiny bit long.
Emil playing the forehand hyzer, slightly steeper hyzer than the others, and with a touch more distance off the tee, you see him fire long as well to the green, but I believe all of them in the circle. So we have KJ getting us started here at the birdie putts and drills it really nice.
Yeah, really seems like KJ has found his rhythm hitting the putts. He seems smooth. Tapani as well. Nice one.
These guys looking really well composed on the green so far today, translating the majority of their opportunities. We go to Emil now. Also very nicely done. You see quite a hyzer angle to his putting release, but very solid. He puts 3 together in a row. And Erich sneaks his over as well.
Great stuff, Ram.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Our masters having some fun here, some chit-chat going on. As we move over to hole number 7. This is a tricky one. 110 meters, but it's basically an island. There's a fairway zone short and then island green. I think you need to stick the island in order to proceed to it. So definitely a risk-reward kind of play. Let's see if all 4 players are going for the island, or maybe someone will just lay it up short and attack the island on the second shot.
KJ here playing the hyzer delivery and a beautiful throw. Hits the pin. Masterful touch there from our master. Previous former Masters champion 2021 for KJ. We go now to Emil.
Oh yeah, that just got pushed down by the wind, it seemed to me. Maybe some swirly wind going around out there, I don't know. Erich though with a pretty nice line and finds himself well inside the circle for another birdie.
Tapani also using some late overstability with the width, and you see him stick his arm out, calling for it. He does find it. Swings back just in time. Beautiful shot. Also pretty much at bullseye's edge for him. We see what Emil is left with here. I think giving it a run there.
Yeah, that was definitely on the long side. His putter up shot really seemed to have some good touch so far. Oh, and he misses his bogey putt. That's definitely not what he is looking for. That's for sure.
Tapani left with that short putt off the tee. Does find himself at 3 under here as he putts on hole 7. Erich with a bit of a heartbreaker there. Just on the left side, he sneaks through to the back. But there you go. He said it himself. That's not a good putt. He's understanding. I think it's a great attitude to have that you could always improve regardless of circumstances. Emil there, a bit of trouble off not hitting the island.
Yeah, as I mentioned in the overflight, this is definitely a hole that can potentially produce some trouble. We saw 3 very nice tee shots. And hole number 8, this one is a tricky one as well. Basically, the first shot just needs to be straight as an error. It's 180 meters par 4. The basket is slightly tucked to the right at the end. But objective number 1 is just to hit the gap, just make some progress on distance. Just straight. Left and right side are pretty thick woods, so you better don't end up there. You will definitely be scrambling if you miss the fairway on the tee.
An unforgiving series of shots here. We have KJ currently on a great birdie streak. And he pushes it. You see him going very low to prevent any overturn or significant fade.
Yeah, there is that little creek on the left side. Might be a smart play to just put it in the creek to be in the fairway and have some kind of upshot from there.
Tapani playing to the right side, potentially opening up the forehand approach for him. We see Erich here really trying to push the understability out the left. And he uses the hillside to come back inbounds. Has some great distance off that drive. Really got a bit more aggressive, but pays off for him nicely.
Emil also going with a pretty aggressive line here. Stays on the edge of the right side woods. That should be a fine position to approach the basket.
Tapani looking to shape the forehand into the green. There's quite a lot of distance left on this. And we see him fade just a touch early. Certainly leaving him a long putt though. Has made it to circle 2.
Oh yeah, another chance for one of those great spinners. So another easy backhand line here for KJ. He's going on a slight hyzer flip. Just trying to give himself a chance. Ends up in circle 2 as well. But definitely a putt that he can manage to get in the basket. And we have seen some great putts already by KJ. Emil up next.
We've already seen a great shot from him this round from this stance. Has shown that he's competent and again shaping a beautiful shot from a really awkward position. That's a great way to give himself an open birdie look off the tee. And Erich here has a fantastic drive, left with a lot less distance into the green, just goes with a really overstable disc and actually does find the very last tree, preventing him from accessing the green cleanly, but also in a very reasonable spot. Tapani looking to attack. Oh.
Man, those guys really show solid skills on the putting green so far.
We get to take another look here. Tapani from the woods, circle 2. You see the width, limited, a beautiful hop, and gives it the height and the spin. Throws the hand up. He knows it's good.
Yeah, just big putted KJ it seems. It happens.
Erich as well with a chance there. Hangs on to the putt a little bit too long. We go to Emil here. And he sends it over the top. Tapani left with the furthest look of the 4. The only one translating the opportunity to their birdie. And we go back now to Emil. Left with this tester and just not finding the timing.
Oh wow, that was like heartbreaking almost. I don't know. It's a mental kind of thing. Erich connects on the easy par. Emil with another one. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he had the chance to bounce back after his troubles on hole 7, but they continue on the green here on hole 8. Emil falls back to just 1 under. Great birdie by Tapani to catch up to KJ and Erich.
We have another great chance at birdie here. Hole number 9, par 5, 230 meters. Once again, it's not about the distance, it's about the placement. You need to hit a pretty tight tunnel off the start, then hit another tunnel and skip to the left. It opens up quite a bit, getting closer to the basket, but definitely still some kind of gap to hit to approach the basket. I think it's technically eagleable, so with 2 perfect shots you could get a 3 here. Better just play it safe and get your birdie.
Tapani getting us started, really pushing that forehand flex out, and nicely done for him. Great result there to get past those very last trees. Should open him up very nicely to the next angle.
Yeah, that's a fine position for sure. Oh, that was an unfortunate branch hit for KJ. With 2 extraordinary shots he could still birdie, but it's definitely going to be hard from that kind of position.
You see Erich here with more of a low piercing line. A little bit too low for a long flight, but certainly in a fine position as well, right at the edge of the tree line. Nicely in the fairway. We go to Emil here, also pushing the height, catching the same early branches as KJ, but with a more forgiving result, fights his way up there, right next to Tapani.
Yeah, that tee shot is really demanding. The gap is way closer than it looks. There's a lot of branches. KJ here with just a through the gap shot on his second one, and this is honestly quite a decent result. Basically cleared the whole first gap just looking at the pin from there.
See from Erich as well, he's battling right up there, a few meters shy of KJ, both of them still looking to push for the birdie chance. And we see Emil here, playing for the ground play, and he finds it, gets a touch more distance as a result.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a easier approach now from there. Tapani prime position of his drive, just hits the second gap perfectly as well. Just gets the skip that might be pretty easy forehand into the green.
Erich looking to access the green, has this very late gap and is able to sneak on through. Slightly obstructed, but just 4 or 5 meters away. Very nice shot by him, navigating that late entrance, and KJ as well, needing to manage the height, does so beautifully. Some great technique on display here.
Yeah, great upshots here. Really hitting that last gap very clean. Emil going with straight mid-range or parter, just putting a clinic on that one.
Tapani now, closest of the bunch. 3 pretty much perfect approaches have been thrown, and he's going to leave him slightly further, although out in the open, circle 1. Birdie look. Just like that, he translates it.
Yeah, that spinner. Can't get enough of it. I could watch it all day. So many nice putts made by him and KJ, I would say. Emil with another look here.
Solid birdie to end out his front 9. Tapani finding these last 4 holes, really putting himself back into the pace of these guys leading the card, and Erich also finding himself at 5 under here. Great start for our local player. KJ with the absolute tap-in bag-on birdie for 6 under.
We've seen some very good scores here on the front 9. We get the little celebration on hole number 9. Super excited for the back 9. I think there's a lot more birdies to come. Let's see what that guys can put together.
As we take a look at the standings through the first front 9, KJ taking the solo lead with that 6 under. We see a series of players tied in second, including those from our card. Still, of course, a very tight battle this early on in the tournament. Thank you for all of you joining us here today. We appreciate your support. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to support European disc golf coverage. Make sure to tune in to the back 9. Stan, thanks for joining today.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. See you on the back.